Welcome to Talk with Kristen with an E, the podcast that's like therapy, but cheaper and way more fun. I'm Kristen, host, storyteller, and occasional overthinker. From making friends to surviving burnout, reminiscing on our younger days, and learning how to adult, we'll chat about all life's lessons and laugh in between. So grab your drink, get comfy, and let's talk it out. Hey friends, thanks for joining me today. This episode's going to be a little bit different. It's just me, so I wanted to do a little bit of an introduction, give you an idea of who I am, what the plan is for the podcast, what we're going to be doing, what I've got planned for it, why you should listen to it. I want to be able to give you that kind of information because I think that it's important that at least a little bit about me going into it. So to start with, my name's Kristen with an E. So why with an E? Partly that's the way my parents spelled it when I was born, but also Anne of Green Gables has always been one of my favorite books, my favorite movies, and Anne Shirley, the main character, always talks about how she's Anne with an E, and she goes through this whole little spiel about how the way names are spelled is so important and that Anne with an E just looks prettier. And that's something that stuck with me because also I am weird about that. If I meet somebody like, oh, my name's Jacob, I'm like, oh, is that Jacob with a C or Jacob with a K? Because for whatever reason, I see words in my head, and especially when it comes to names, I just wonder how they're spelled and how do they look. And so it's one of my little quirks. So I am very focused on making sure names are spelled right. And also, my name is spelled wrong so often. I get Kristin. I get Kristan. I get Christan. You're like, really? That's when I said my name was Kristen, you thought that's how it was spelled? And I'm sure there's other people that get it way worse than that. But it's become my thing. A little bit over a year ago, I started a Bookstagram. So that's an Instagram about books because I love reading, love books, and the Bookstagram community has been fantastic. Some of you may have actually met me over there first. Over there, I am Read with Kristen with an E. And that was going so well that I was like, you know what? I got a lot of things to say. I started Talk with Kristen with an E. And really, it's the whole concept of that is things that I want to talk about, things that I think other people are interested in, or maybe they're not, but things that I think about and I wonder if other people do. Also, there's things that I've been going on this self journey or self exploration. And as I'm learning things, I'm like, oh, I wonder if other people know that. Or learning something about myself, and I wonder, am I the only one that goes through this? Are there other people dealing with that? And so part of it came from that too. Just a couple months ago, I was visiting with some friends and kind of topics came up, and I was like, oh my gosh, that would be something great. Like, people should be talking about this. We should be discussing this. We've talked about friendships. We've talked about people pleasing and boundaries and burnout and all these things that we're dealing with. And I know that there is some people who don't have others to talk to about that. And I was like, you know what? I really want to be a place where I can share my experiences. I can talk about what's going on with me, what I'm learning about, but then putting it out beyond just my small circle, but putting it out to other people who may be interested in it also and getting them to engage and what they're concerned about or what they're thinking about, because it's so hard in this day and age where we're all connected, but not connected at all because of how social media works. There's so many people and you're like, oh yeah, these are my friends, but they don't really know you because they're just friends with you on social media. You may even know them in real life, but they're not ones that you actually have connections with. And then there are some people that you may have never met in real life that you're connected through, whether it's a different social media, like my Bookstagram friends. We'll talk more about that sometime. But what the point I was trying to make is that we're so connected, but we don't have any of those connections. And that was something that I saw a need for and thought that if I started a podcast, that maybe I could help build some of those connections and have people feel that they're not alone, that there is somebody going through similar things they're going through or somebody who thinks the same things they do. So that was where it all came from. Yeah, so the whole concept is Talk with Kristen with an E, because that's me. And sometimes it'll be just me talking with you, the listener. Sometimes I'll have guests here and we'll be talking about different topics. So I'm just really excited about where this can go. because it really is just talking. And it's funny, I recently saw, I think it was on Instagram, and it was one of a little meme, and it said, for all the girls who were told in school that they talk too much. And I was like, yeah, that was me. And I'm sure there's others of you out there like that. Got how many of us were separated from our friends in class, like the teacher had to separate us because we were talking too much, or we got in trouble for passing notes. I remember too, after school, I'd get home and then I would call my friends, and this was before the internet. And then when we had the internet, then I'd get home and I'd get online and I'd go talk with all my friends on AOL Instant Messenger. And I remember my mom was like, you just saw all these kids. Like, why do you still need to talk to them? And I was like, because we can't talk about this stuff while we're in class. We've got to talk about everything else, talk about what boys we like or what was going on, or break down something that happened. Because I've always been that overthinker, overanalyzing. But anyway, so that's led me now to my 40s, where I feel the need to talk with a bunch of complete strangers about my innermost thoughts. So this could be fun. So a little bit about me. I'm an overthinker, an overanalyzer. I am hypersensitive. I am a recovering people pleaser. I have to say that tentatively because it is still something that I actively struggle with and am working on. But let me tell you, that's going to be a whole several episodes in itself. Look forward to that. I am a mom. I'm a wife. I'm an employee. I'm a friend. People are all about labels. Those are all the ways I would label myself. So that's kind of me. What is this all about? It's everything. It's my thoughts. I can't be the only one who's having these thoughts. It's about finding people. It's about building community and exploring topics, learning new things together, and sharing what we learn. I'm really big too that I deep dive on a lot of subjects. If I see something, I'm like, oh, what's that about? And then I start going down the rabbit holes of all the different things. I'm really curious about time travel, like the whole space-time continuum thing and alternate timelines and varying realities. I think it's possible. Here's the thing. I am not a sciencey person. I'm like the farthest thing from it. So it's not like I'm going to understand a whole lot of all of those physics and everything, but I think it's possible. And there's going to be at least an episode, maybe two, that I do want to do a deep dive into that, share what I've looked into, maybe get an expert on the podcast to share what's really going on in all the sciencey stuff. Why should you listen? If you've made it this far, you haven't completely shut me off yet. So some of the reasons I think you should listen is because I put it in my tagline. It's cheaper than therapy. You can come and maybe feel like you're not the craziest person around because maybe I'm more crazy than you, and it'll make you think about things. Like I said, I really want us to look into things and explore why things are or what's happening. There's always times that I theorize about something. I'm like, you know what? Let me see if I can get to the bottom of this. Let's see if this really is something. So maybe I'll make you laugh. Maybe I'll make you think. Maybe I'll bring up a thought or a memory or something that you didn't think of. I'm huge into nostalgia, which I know is really big right now. And I will list off, I'll put in the details some of my favorite Instagram accounts that are like the best with nostalgic content. And there's just something about you'll see things like, oh my gosh, I remember that. And it brings back a good memory for you, something that you want to hold on to. And what I really want to do too is give you a space for listening. Like this is talking with, not just talking to. So when I'm putting out content, I would love to have you engage back. Send me an email. Get in my DMs on Instagram, share what's going on with you, things that you're thinking about, things that you're wondering about. Maybe you think you're the only one that's gone through something and you just want to know if somebody else has ever experienced it. I just want to give that space and a listening ear where we can just share with each other. So what do I want from you? I just want your openness. I talk about things and I said, we need to go in things with open hearts and open minds so that at least be open to it because I don't know what's going to come from this. Like I said, I have a lot of thoughts. I've got a whole list of topics I want to cover, people I want to interview, things I want to learn and explore and share. So this really could go anywhere. And if you're up for it and want to come along with this journey with me, then I just want you to be open and be accepting expecting of me. You don't have to like me. Maybe you will listen to this because you want to actively hate me and talk about me. And that's fine too, because we all need to have that person in our lives. Whatever, that's cool. But if you're coming along on this journey with me, I think it'll be fun and we'll see what we can learn and see how we can grow and how we can develop ourselves. Because as I'm getting older now too and looking back on all that I've experienced, mistakes I've made, lessons I've learned, things that have made me stronger, I think it's important to share those experiences too. And I want to be able to share that with people. My husband joked with me and he was like, I don't know if you're going to do a podcast. It sounds more like you're doing a TED Talk. And then he also said, do you need a podcast or do you need a blog? And then I said, you know what? I think maybe both. If you're somebody who likes to listen, you've got this podcast right here. If you're someone who likes to read, I'm going to have a blog also. I'll probably cover some of the same topics, probably be a little bit different. I don't know. I haven't worked that up. And it's been several years since I was really into blogging. I'm looking forward to building a community with all of you. I'm looking forward to talking with you, sharing my opinions, stories, sharing my friends with you too, because a lot of the guests I'll be having are people that I talk to in my everyday life about some of these topics. And we're just taking it to a grander platform to share our thoughts and get other people's opinions too. I appreciate you listening this long, and I look forward to sharing more with you as we go on this journey. So thank you. And as always, reach out anytime about things you'd like to talk about. Thanks for spending time with me on Talk with Kristen with an E, where it's always cheaper than therapy. If you enjoyed today's chat, don't forget to subscribe. And hey, let's keep these conversations going. You can find me on Instagram at Talk with Kristen with an E. Let me know what's on your mind. Until next time, take care of yourself. And remember, life is always better when we talk it out.